Bring the entire 10% into the storehouse, so there will be food in my house. Then I will open the windows of heaven and flood you with blessing after blessing, and will also stop locusts from destroying your crops and keeping your vineyard from producing. Kind of watching out for now and watching out for next year. You will find many, many promises in the Bible on all sorts of topics, but this is the only time that you will find God coming in there and saying, I challenge you to put me to the test on it. I've something I've promised to do, and take me up on that. I've made the promise, take me up on that. Many promises are there. Take me up on that. Okay, so just a couple of final thoughts on that. Stewardship is measured by having a right perspective about material blessings. We talked of, not keeping things too close to you, keeping things in perspective, remembering that everything that we have as managers or stewards. We don't own it. It comes from God, and He requires it back. To avoid financial bondage, we have to abandon some hoarding practices or spending recklessly, and embrace the biblical principles of stewardship, of looking out for opportunities to invest in the lives of others, to give and contribute and grow them, as well as kind of looking out for yourself. Now, Herta, you had indicated that you would like to do a little bit on the Q&A side of doing this.
Thank you very much. How many points did we have to remember? Can we recap them? There we go. Yes. There we are, seven points. I want to address something as well in addition to this, that is the elephant in the room. God is basically giving us these very clear principles that Hans outlined. Love God more than money. One of the things, and it's not just in Kenya, we do business all over Africa, we do business in many parts of the world. What is eating us like a cancer right now is corruption. And we have to address the elephant in the room, because every time I get into an Uber, every time we talk to people, the same issue comes up. And it is affecting all of us. How do we do business? How do we handle what God has entrusted us? And are we willing, are we inclined to cut corners and get what we don't deserve through corruption, through bribing? This is something that is really, really affecting our society like a cancer. You cannot go and drive without worrying that you're not going to be stopped by a police person who wants something from you. This is, the thing that we are really struggling with, and where we all need to work together, is how do we break the cycle? Because it's impossible to ask God to bless us if we gain whatever little or whatever much we have by illegitimate means. Are we together on this? It is something, and I really, we struggle with this so much. It's not unique to Kenya. It is true all over the world. But I really think as people of God, we are called to stand for integrity and to have a healthy relationship with whatever God has entrusted us with. Does that make sense? So, are there any, I know we've covered a number of things here, thank you so much. And are there any specific questions that anybody would like to say? This was all great, but can you talk about X, Y, and Z? Are there any questions that you would like to ask? Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Hans, for the 7 points, and Madam too. My question specifically is, why does it seem that there are biblical principles, yet there are those who are not Christians, who are not Adventists? For example, in Kenya here, the Muslim or Somali community, the Indians, who seem to be thriving, yet they may not even know these principles of Malachi 3:10. So how do I respond to that to a non-believer?
That's a great question. I'll give this microphone to Hans.
The matches with you.
Okay, I'll take the blue. Okay. How does God bless the unbelievers? I will just start with the notion. I think when we get to heaven, we will be very surprised to see who is there. I think we will be very, very surprised to see who is there. And because I see in the Muslim community, for example, people of tremendous integrity. They give to the poor. They do things the right way. So there are people who clearly are doing things the right way, even if they are not Christians. And God does say, the Bible does say that God is allowing the sun to shine on who? The good and the not so good, right? So one of the things that David wrestled with was, and this is not necessarily true for the Ismaili community, by the way, but David said, I am struggling when I see how good the wicked have it. And look at me, I don't have it so good, right? If you read the Psalms, you basically hear David really wrestling with this. And he's wrestling with this. He's saying, I am serving God and I don't have what those wicked people have. Until what? Until he went to the sanctuary. Until he went to the temple and he saw the end from the beginning, right? Please, yeah.
At the same time, though, you have, I think, you find in Scripture a number of principles that anybody and everybody can apply, which is why you have very successful other communities. You have plenty of people who kind of watch out for each other. They don't regard each person as having to take care of themselves. They'll see a friend in need, they'll help them out. They'll work together to help them get an education, help them start a business. The cooperation aspect of things, the valuing education, which is something that Adventists have done, that others can do as well. So the principles in Scripture, I think they're so valuable because they are one that underlie everything that everybody can benefit from. They may not point to a particular verse on it, but they do benefit from it because they're practicing it.